The Galactic Council chamber fell silent as Ambassador Theron's words echoed off crystalline walls. Earth contributes nothing. A backwater planet of primitives who stumbled into space travel through blind luck. Laughter rippled through the assembled delegates, chittering, hissing, melodic sounds from 100 species. Only one representative remained still. Queen Lyra of the Valith Accord sat motionless in her obsidian seat, her 4 eyes unblinking. Her royal guard, Commander Kess, stood 3 paces behind her left shoulder, hand resting on the ceremonial blade at his hip. He'd served the queen for 16 cycles. He knew that stillness. They hide behind outdated treaties, Ambassador Theron continued, his crest flaring purple with amusement. Their delegates refuse council chambers, send only observers. What cowardice masquerades as neutrality? The Vraxian delegates' tentacles slapped the table in agreement. Even the normally reserved Korthi representative clicked approval. Queen Lyra's smallest finger twitched. Commander Kess shifted his weight imperceptibly forward. "I propose," Theron announced, spreading his forearms wide, "that we revoke Earth's protected status. Their system holds resources we need. Why should 3 billion primitives control an entire solar system when they barely use 2 planets?" The chamber erupted in debate. Voices overlapped in a cacophony of agreement and calculation. Trade concessions were shouted. Mining rights negotiated. Ambassador Theron basked in the chaos he'd created, his crest now blazing gold with triumph. Queen Lyra raised one hand. The gesture was minimal, barely lifting from the armrest, but silence crashed through the chamber like a physical force. Every species present knew the Valith Accord commanded the largest fleet in known space. When Queen Lyra spoke, civilizations listened. "A question," she said, her voice carrying despite its softness. "How many of you have actually visited Earth?" Confused glances passed between delegates. Ambassador Theron's crest dulled slightly. "Irrelevant. Their technological assessments—" "Show of hands," Queen Lyra interrupted, still speaking quietly. "Who here has walked on Earth?" Commander Kess watched the room. Not one hand rose. The Queen nodded slowly. "Commander Kess," she said without turning. "Tell them about Bangalore." Kess straightened. Military protocol discouraged personal anecdotes in council chambers, but the Queen had given a direct order. "3rd cycle of my service, Your Majesty. Our scout ship experienced critical engine failure near the Sol system. We crash-landed on Earth's primary inhabited world, in a region called Bangalore. And," Queen Lyra prompted, "by accord law we should have died. Hostile indigenous populations typically eliminate crash survivors. Instead, thousands of humans rushed toward our burning vessel. They pulled us from the wreckage with their bare hands, despite our different biology. Despite not knowing if we were hostile." Kess paused, remembering the heat, the screaming metal, the small hands reaching through smoke. "A human child no more than 8 solar cycles old led my injured pilot to safety while the crowd fought the fires. She couldn't have weighed more than 30 keleks. My pilot weighed 200. They took us to a medical facility," Kess continued. "Spent 3 weeks determining our biology, creating compatible treatments, refusing payment. When our rescue ship arrived, 10,000 humans came to see us depart safely. The child who saved my pilot gave her a handmade gift, a small statue she'd carved herself." Queen Lyra's hand moved again, a gesture requesting something. Commander Kess reached into his uniform and withdrew a small wooden elephant, worn smooth by countless touches. He'd carried it every day for 13 cycles. He walked forward, placed it on the council table where all could see. "My pilot died 4 cycles ago in battle," Kess said. "She made me promise to protect this, to remember that courage has no size, no species, no technology requirement." Ambassador Theron leaned forward, examining the crude carving. "A touching story, Commander, but hardly evidence of—" "I have 200 similar accounts," Queen Lyra said. "Filed reports from Valith ships assisted by human vessels, rescue missions, medical aid. Shared resources during the Korath Plague despite Earth having no stake in Outer Rim politics." She leaned forward slightly, and though her voice never rose, every word landed like a hammer. "Earth stays quiet because they're busy, feeding 10 billion. Solving problems we consider beneath us, helping strangers who crash on their world." The Vraxian delegate's tentacles stilled. "Your Majesty, surely you're not suggesting—" "I'm stating facts." Queen Lyra's 4 eyes swept the chamber. "Each of you commands technology that surpasses Earth's, yet I notice something curious. Where are your art galleries? Your music that makes grown warriors weep?" Your literature that survives 10,000 cycles? Silence. Earth has been spacefaring for less than 200 cycles, Queen Lyra continued. Yet I've watched council members sneak human music into their quarters, seen delegates reading human philosophy texts, attended council banquets serving food from Earth recipes. She stood slowly, her full height impressive despite her slender frame. They contribute more than you acknowledge. You simply don't recognize the value because it can't be mined or weaponized. Ambassador Theron's crest flattened against his skull. Your Majesty, with respect, this is sentiment, not policy. Earth controls resources worth— Ah! Tell me, Queen Lyra interrupted, her voice dropping to barely above a whisper. What do you think happens when you invade Earth? The question hung in the air like a blade. I'll tell you what won't happen, the Queen said. Earth won't surrender. They'll fight with whatever they have. And when you crack their planet open for its metals, when you enslave 3 billion humans for labor, when you destroy them— She paused, letting the weight settle. The rest of the galaxy will learn what you did. They'll learn you destroyed the species that carved wooden elephants for dying aliens, that wrote poetry about stars they couldn't yet touch, that risked their lives for strangers. Queen Lyra walked slowly round the council table. Every delegate tracked her movement. Commander Kess remained at attention, but his hand had shifted closer to his blade. My accord commands 6,000 warships, Queen Lyra said conversationally. We have defense treaties with 47 systems, trade agreements with 300, cultural exchanges with thousands. She stopped directly in front of Ambassador Theron. What happens to those relationships when I declare war on anyone who harms Earth? Ambassador Theron's crest turned bone white. You think I won't? Queen Lyra smiled without warmth. Commander Kess carries a wooden elephant from a child who risked herself for a stranger. I carry something too. She reached into her formal robes and withdrew a data chip. 1,700 messages from human children, sent to me after I visited their planet 3 cycles ago. They asked about my world, my people, if we could be friends. Her 4 eyes blazed. I wrote back to every single one. Earth stays quiet because they're peaceful, Queen Lyra said. I stayed quiet because I'm watching, seeing who shows their true nature. Her gaze swept the chamber. Now you've all shown me. Commander Kess moved smoothly into escort position, matching her stride. As they reached the chamber doors, Queen Lyra paused and looked back. This council has 1 Earth week to formalize Earth's protected status permanently. Full council rights. Full resource sovereignty, full autonomy. Her voice carried absolute finality. Or the Valeth Accord withdraws from this council entirely and forms a new alliance. I already have 50 systems who will join. Would any of you like to guess which 50? The doors closed behind her with a soft hiss. Commander Kess walked beside his queen through the crystalline corridors, maintaining professional silence until they reached the private transport bay. The moment the bay doors sealed, Queen Lyra's composure fractured slightly. She leaned against the transport ship's hull, breathing deeply. Did I overplay? She asked quietly. No, Your Majesty. Kess pulled up his wrist display. I'm already receiving confirmation signals. 47 systems standing with Earth. The numbers climbing. Queen Lyra nodded, straightening her robes. Good. Though I meant every word. I know. Kess hesitated, then added, The child who saved my pilot. Her name was Priya. She's an engineer now. Designs hospital equipment. You kept track? I visited Earth 6 months ago, delivered the wooden elephant personally, told her how much it meant. Kess allowed himself a small smile. She cried, then built me a translator that improved Accord medical communication by 30%. Refused payment. Said helping was thanks enough. Queen Lyra was quiet for a long moment. Get me a direct channel to Earth's observer. It's time they stopped observing and started participating, whether they want to or not. Yes, Your Majesty. As the transport ship lifted off, Kess glanced back at the council building. Through the crystalline walls he could see delegates rushing between chambers, communicators flashing, the careful political order dissolving into chaos. Earth had stayed quiet. The council had mocked too far. And now, for the first time in centuries, the galaxy would be forced to acknowledge what had always been true. Civilization wasn't measured in weapons or resources. It was measured in wooden elephants carved by children who saved strangers, and anyone who forgot that would answer to Queen Lyra of the Valeth Accord. The transport ship engaged faster than light travel, leaving the council to its chaos. Commander Kess stood at attention, hands still resting on the ceremonial blade, protecting the queen who'd just rewritten galactic politics to save a planet of strangers. Because 13 cycles ago a child named Priya taught him what courage really meant, and some lessons were worth going to war over. Earth's observation station hung in geosynchronous orbit above Geneva, a small diplomatic outpost that had represented humanity to the stars for decades. Inside, observer Diana Chen received an incoming transmission with the highest priority encryption she'd ever seen. Valeth Accord, direct from Queen Lyra herself. Chen's hands trembled slightly as she accepted the connection. The holographic display shimmered and Queen Lyra's four-eyed visage materialized. Observer Chen, the Queen said without preamble, your planet is in immediate danger. I need you to contact your government leaders now. What's happened? Chen's training kept her voice steady. Queen Lyra explained the council session in quick, precise terms. Chen felt her blood chill as she understood the implications. They want to revoke our protected status? They can't. The treaties are words, Queen Lyra interrupted. Greed is action. I bought you time, but Earth must take a seat at the council table. Full membership. Full voice. No more hiding. We're not hiding, Chen protested. We're observing. Learning. We're barely 2 centuries spacefaring. We have nothing to contribute to civilizations millions of years old. Commander Kess, Queen Lyra said. Show her. The view shifted. Commander Kess appeared, holding the wooden elephant. Chen recognized it immediately. The style, the craftsmanship. Indian folk art, probably from Karnataka region. Maybe 20 years old. This saved my pilot's life, Kess said simply. The child who carved it pulled my pilot from a burning wreck. She was 8. Bangalore. 3 years ago. I read the report. Then you know Earth contributes more than you think. Queen Lyra's image returned. I need an answer, Observer Chen. Will Earth take its council seat? Or will you force me to protect you from the shadows while others bleed your planet dry? Shen thought of protocols, of orders, of the carefully maintained political distance Earth had cultivated. Then she thought of Priya Sharma, because she'd read that report thoroughly, remembered every detail, pulling an alien from fire without hesitation. I need to consult. No time. Queen Lyra's voice hardened. The council votes in 6 Earth days. I need your answer now, because if Earth refuses, I withdraw my protection. I won't waste Valeth lives protecting people who won't protect themselves. The words hit like a slap. Chen straightened in her chair. That's not fair. Fair? Queen Lyra leaned forward. Ambassador Theron wants to crack your planet open for minerals. The Vraxian Collective wants to enslave 3 billion humans for labor colonies. The Korthi see your oceans as potential terraforming experiments. Is that fair? No, but your species rushed into burning wreckage to save strangers. You carved gifts for aliens you'd never see again. You wrote letters to a queen asking if you could be friends. Queen Lyra's 4 eyes blazed. Where is that courage now? Where is the species that defines itself by helping others? Chen felt heat rising in her face. You're asking us to enter a political arena we don't understand, with civilizations that could annihilate us without effort, representing interests we can barely comprehend. Yes, Queen Lyra said simply. I'm asking you to be brave. Like Priya Sharma was brave. Like 10,000 humans were brave when they rushed toward a burning alien ship instead of away from it. Silence stretched between them. Chen thought about her training, her orders, the careful diplomatic frameworks. Then she thought about why she'd volunteered for this position in the first place, why she'd spent 10 years studying xenobiology, linguistics, cultural anthropology. Not to hide, to connect. I'll make the call, Chen said quietly, but I can't promise they'll listen. Then make them listen. Queen Lyra's expression softened slightly. Commander Kess told me about Priya. She's an engineer now. Designs hospital equipment? Do you know why? Chen shook her head. Because she watched medics struggle to treat the Valeth crew? Watched them jury-rig solutions for biology they didn't understand? She decided to fix that, at 8 years old. Queen Lyra smiled faintly. That's who humans are. That's what you bring to the council. Not ancient technology or massive fleets. You bring the audacity to fix problems no one else notices. To help when helping seems impossible. I'll make the call, she repeated, but this time the words carried weight. The connection ended. Chen sat in silence for 30 seconds, organizing her thoughts. Then she opened emergency channels to Geneva, Beijing, Washington, Brussels, Delhi, Lagos, Tokyo. Every major power center, every cultural hub. Within minutes, she had 17 world leaders on a secure conference line. "This is Observer Diana Chen," she said, her voice carrying across continents. "We have a situation. The council session. The threat. Queen Lyra's ultimatum." When she finished, silence greeted her. Then the president of Brazil spoke. "They want to enslave us?" "Some factions do," Chen confirmed. "Others want our resources. A few just want us gone. But Queen Lyra has offered protection if we take our council seat." "Why?" The Chinese premier's question cut through the confusion. "Does the Valeth Accord gain from defending us?" Chen thought about wooden elephants and children's letters. "I think," she said slowly, "they see something in us that we don't see in ourselves. Sentiment won't save us from invasion," the American Secretary of State said bluntly. "Can this queen actually protect us? Is her fleet strong enough?" "The Valeth Accord commands the largest military force in known space," Chen replied. "But more importantly, she's already got 47 systems pledging support for Earth. The number's growing hourly. She's not offering military protection alone. She's offering political revolution." The Indian Prime Minister spoke, her voice thoughtful. "The Bangalore incident. 3 years ago. I remember it vividly. The girl who saved the alien? Priya Sharma. She's from my constituency." A pause. "She's 21 now. Brilliant engineer. She told me once that helping the Valeth crew taught her that intelligence isn't about knowing everything. It's about being brave enough to try when you know nothing." "Exactly," Chen said, feeling pieces fall into place. "That's what Earth brings to the Council. Not superior technology, not ancient wisdom. We bring the courage to act despite uncertainty, to help despite risk, to connect despite difference." The Nigerian president cleared her throat. "This Queen Lyra, you trust her?" "I've never met her in person, but I've studied Valeth culture extensively. They value honor above efficiency, truth above comfort, action above rhetoric. If she says she'll protect us, she will. But she won't protect us from ourselves. If we refuse to take our council seat, she'll withdraw. Not because she's cruel, but because protection without participation creates dependency. And the Valeth despise dependency." "So we have no choice," the Russian premier said flatly. "We always have a choice," Chen corrected. "We can refuse, stay quiet. Hope the council's greed doesn't overcome their caution. Maybe we'd be fine. Maybe they'd leave us alone." She paused, letting the weight settle. "Or we can do what we've always done. Step forward despite fear. Help despite risk. Connect despite difference." The Japanese prime minister spoke quietly. He spent his life afterward building bridges between cultures. He always said, "The measure of civilization isn't power. It's grace under pressure." Another pause. "I think this is our pressure moment." "I agree," the German chancellor said. "But we need consensus. All of us. If Earth takes a council seat, we speak with one voice. No more fractured international politics. We become one species among many." Chen felt her heart pound. That was the real fear, wasn't it? Not alien invasion? Losing national identity? Sovereignty, the careful balance of power that had defined human politics for centuries. "We need a new framework," the French president said slowly. "A global government structure that preserves cultural identity while presenting unified external policy. The United Nations already provides that foundation," the Brazilian president pointed out. "We'd need to expand its authority, but the bones exist." "In 6 days?" The American Secretary of State sounded skeptical. "Impossible. Humans landed on the moon with 1960s technology," Chen said. "We mapped the human genome in a decade. We created the internet, global trade, instantaneous communication. We do impossible things when we're motivated." She took a breath. "And right now, we're very motivated." "What exactly would a council seat require?" the Chinese premier asked. "What are the obligations?" Chen pulled up her files. Standard council membership includes attending biannual council sessions, contributing to mutual defense pacts, opening trade relationships, participating in cultural exchanges, and maintaining embassies on council worlds. We'd also gain voting rights on galactic policy, resource access in unclaimed systems, and protection under council law. Who sits in that council chamber? That was the trillion-dollar question. Chen had been thinking about it since Queen Lyra's call ended. We need someone who embodies what makes humanity valuable to the Council. Someone who understands both our strength and our limitations. Someone brave enough to speak truth to civilizations millions of years old. You, the Japanese Prime Minister said simply. Chen blinked. I'm just an observer. I don't have the political experience. Exactly, the German Chancellor interrupted. You're not a politician.
You're a scientist.
A linguist. A person who chose to spend 10 years learning about aliens because you wanted to connect, not conquer. That's what Earth needs representing us. The Veilith Queen respects you, the Nigerian president added. That much is clear from the call. She didn't contact our governments directly. She contacted you. That means something. Chen felt panic rising. I can't possibly, President Observer Chen, the Brazilian president said gently. You just convinced 17 world leaders to have a serious conversation about global government in 15 minutes. If that's not qualification enough, I don't know what is. Chen opened her mouth to protest again, then closed it. She thought about Priya Sharma at 8 years old rushing toward burning wreckage, about the courage to act despite uncertainty. If I do this, she said slowly, I need absolute authority to speak for Earth, no second guessing. No political interference. I need to be able to make decisions in real time without committee approval. Agreed, the Chinese premier said. Other voices echoed agreement. I need a team, Chen continued, her mind racing through requirements. Cultural advisors from every region, scientists, military strategists, philosophers, artists, historians. I need voices representing all of humanity, not just governments. You'll have them, the French president promised. Chen looked around her small observation station, this tiny outpost where she'd spent 3 years watching the stars. In 6 days, she'd walk into the Galactic Council chamber as Earth's first official representative. The thought terrified her. Then she remembered Queen Lyra's words. Where is that courage now? All right, Chen said, straightening her shoulders. Let's do the impossible. Someone contact the UN Secretary General. We're calling an emergency General Assembly session. Every nation sends a representative to Geneva within 48 hours. We've got 6 days to build a framework that took humans centuries to create. But we're good at impossible things. As world leaders began coordinating logistics, Chen opened a private channel back to the Veilith Accord flagship. Queen Lyra answered immediately. Your answer? The Queen asked. Earth accepts, Chen said. I'll be there in 6 days. With full authority to speak for my planet. Queen Lyra's expression shifted. Satisfaction mixed with respect. Good. Commander Kess will transmit full council protocol documents. Study them. Understand what you're walking into. I have one condition, Chen said, surprising herself with her boldness. Name it. As part of Earth's delegation. Queen Lyra tilted her head, intrigued. Why? Because she embodies what Earth brings to the Council. Courage without certainty. Help without hesitation. Connection without fear. Chen smiled slightly. And because if I'm going to be brave, I want to learn from the expert. Done. Commander Kess will arrange transport from Earth? Anything else? Just one question, Chen said. Why do you really care? About Earth. About protecting us. The truth. Queen Lyra was quiet for a long moment. When she spoke, her voice carried weight that transcended politics. 6 cycles ago, my daughter was dying. Veilith medicine couldn't save her. Our biology was rejecting every treatment. In desperation, I sent requests to every species we knew. Most ignored me. A few sent condolences. One species, barely spacefaring, with medicine we considered primitive, sent their best pediatric specialist, Dr. Sarah Chen. Your aunt, I believe? Diana Chen felt her world tilt. Aunt Sarah died 4 years ago. Medical mission 2, she stopped, understanding dawning. She never told us. I asked her not to. She said humility mattered more than glory. Queen Lyra's voice softened. She saved my daughter's life. Spent 3 months working with our doctors, teaching them, learning from them. When she left, she gave my daughter a music box. Human classical music. Beethoven, she called it. My daughter still plays it every night. Chen felt tears threatening. Aunt Sarah had always been mysterious about her off-world missions. Now she understood why. Your aunt told me something before she left, Queen Lyra continued. She said humans believe in radical empathy. The idea that every being, no matter how different, deserves compassion. That understanding others isn't just kindness, it's survival. The Queen leaned forward. She was right. And now I'm returning the favor. Because Earth taught me that civilization without compassion is just organized cruelty. And I refuse to let cruelty win. Chen sat in silence, processing everything. Her aunt's secret mission, the weight of representation, the impossible task ahead. Then she began drafting her first official communication as Earth's council representative. It started with a simple sentence: "We're ready to stop watching and start participating." Within hours, the planet mobilized. News networks broadcast the situation. Social media exploded with debate. Universities held emergency symposiums. Artists created celebration pieces for First Contact Day. Children drew pictures of aliens and spaceships echoing the letters that had reached Queen Lyra years before. And in a small apartment in Bangalore, Priya Sharma received a call that would change her life. The transport ship would arrive in 2 days. She had 48 hours to prepare for becoming Earth's youngest council delegate at 21. She spent 30 of those hours working. The remaining 18, she carved a new wooden elephant. This one would be for Queen Lyra's daughter. A gift from Earth. A promise that courage and compassion could travel across the stars. Because some lessons worked both ways, and humanity was ready to teach as well as learn. The transport ship arrived on schedule. Priya Sharma walked aboard carrying nothing but a small bag and a wooden elephant. Commander Kess greeted her personally. "The Queen wanted me to tell you something," he said as the ship lifted off. "Your wooden elephant saved more than my pilot's life. It saved mine, too." "Reminded me what we're fighting for." Priya smiled, nervous but determined. "Commander Kess? I'm terrified." "Good," he replied. "Fear means you understand the stakes. Courage is acting anyway." They arrived at the Valeth flagship 30 hours before the council vote. Queen Lyra met them in the observation deck, a vast chamber overlooking the swirling nebula where the council station orbited. "Observer Chen is already coordinating with 47 allied systems," the Queen said without preamble. "The opposition is collapsing, but they'll make one last push during the vote. Be ready for your daughter to thank her mother for protecting my world. She'll treasure it, just as I treasure what your species taught me." She turned to the viewport. "In 6 hours, Earth becomes a council member. Whatever happens after, you've already changed the galaxy."
You made civilizations question what they value. That's no small thing.
The vote came down to a single moment. The council chamber filled to capacity. Observer Diana Chen, now Earth's first official council representative, stood before the assembled delegates. Priya Sharma stood beside her, representing humanity's future. Ambassador Theron made his final argument. Resources. Technology. The logical reasons Earth should remain subordinate. His words echoed in the chamber, finding some agreement among species that valued power over principle. Then Chen spoke, not about technology or resources, about a girl named Priya who pulled aliens from fire, about Dr. Sarah Chen who saved a dying alien princess,
about the thousands of small acts of courage that defined humanity.
"We bring nothing to this council that you can mine or weaponize," Chen said clearly. "We bring something rarer. We bring the radical belief that every being deserves compassion, that understanding others isn't weakness, it's strength, that civilization is measured not by what you can take, but by what you're willing to give." She placed the wooden elephant on the council table next to the one Commander Kess had shown weeks before. "This is Earth's gift to the galaxy, not technology, not resources. The reminder that courage has no size, no species, no requirements except the choice to act." The vote was called. The chamber held its breath. 73 systems voted in favor of Earth's full council membership. 22 voted against, 15 abstained. Earth had a voice among the stars. Ambassador Theron's crest faded to dull gray as he processed his defeat. But as he watched Chen and Sharma accept congratulations from dozens of species, something shifted in his expression. Understanding, perhaps, or the beginning of respect. Queen Lyra approached Chen as the session ended.
"Well done, Representative. Your aunt would be proud."
"She taught me well," Chen replied. "Now we have to live up to the promise." "You already have," the Queen said simply. She held up the wooden elephant Priya had carved. "My daughter wants to meet you. She's learning human music. Thinks maybe she can teach Valeth songs in return." Priya's eyes widened. "I'd love that." As they left the chamber, Commander Kess fell into step beside them. He touched the wooden elephant at his belt, his constant reminder, and smiled. "Welcome to the council," he said. "Try not to revolutionize galactic politics too often. It's exhausting." Chen laughed, feeling the weight of responsibility settling onto her shoulders. But it was a good weight, the kind that came from standing up instead of standing aside, from choosing courage over comfort. Earth had stayed quiet for 2 centuries. Learning. Watching. Growing. But silence had its limits. Sometimes the greatest contribution was simply showing up and saying, "We're here, we care, and we're not going anywhere." The galaxy would learn what that meant. And billions of humans back on Earth would learn what they'd always been, not primitives stumbling through space, but teachers of an older lesson. That civilization began with a choice. To help or to harm, to connect or to conquer, to carve wooden elephants or crack planets open. Humanity had made its choice long ago. Now the council would learn to live with the consequences. And in a small apartment in Bangalore, a mother told her 8-year-old daughter about the day she pulled aliens from fire, about how one small act of courage could change everything. The girl listened carefully. Then she went outside and began carving her own wooden elephant, because some lessons traveled across stars, and some choices echoed through eternity. Earth had spoken. The galaxy was listening. And the future would be built by those brave enough to reach across difference and say, "I see you. I value you. I'll stand with you." That was humanity's gift, and it was more precious than any resource the Council could ever mine.